Hello and welcome to Media Lit, where we treat each piece of media like great literature. I am your host, Randy Elaine, coming at you for the first time in season 3 of Media Lit. I can hardly believe I'm saying those words. But joining me, as always, is the wonderful Kris Ingersoll. Kris, are you excited to get the ball rolling on the new season?
Dude, season 3, I cannot believe it. I love you to death, and I can't believe we've been doing this thing now for 2 whole seasons already. And this is an incredibly fun way to kick off season 3. I fear for the podlings who encounter this first and wonder what the hell might be wrong with us.
Sure.
In a lovable kind of way. I'm really excited for season 3, man.
Yeah, we often joke about my desire to be a game master and craft crazy draft scenarios. And this is probably the craziest and most obtuse draft that we've come across yet. But Kris, before we get deeper, we vowed to do something new and professional in every episode in season 3. And that is to shamelessly beg for you to email us and follow us on social media. So we're going to try and do this in the context of a pop culture reference every single time. Kris, I didn't ask you in advance, but were you a fan of Pinky and the Brain?
Yeah, of course.
So, can you cue me up with what are we going to do tonight?
What are we doing tonight, Brain?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Beg the podlings to email us at media.slash.lit@gmail.com. And of course, send us all your thoughts on social media. Give us the likes and the follows. We want to keep growing this community, and we want to get your voices on air. Kris and I had an informal chat recently that we want to make sure that we do at least one episode this season that is requested by a podling. So write in, tell us what you want us to cover, and we will do that. But enough about the future of the season. Let's get to the action tonight. We have a very special panel that we've put together. And first and foremost, I am going to introduce the great Doug Lief of Nostalgium, Arcanum. Doug, thank you so much for being here tonight. How are you?
Thanks, Brain, but what we're going to do, find rubber pants our size? No.
I'm so glad I didn't try. I'm so glad.
Does my heart proud. Yeah, really great to be here. I'm super excited to talk some cartoons.
Yes. For those of you who haven't heard Doug recently, you saw him talk Star Trek: The Next Generation with us last year, which was a really fun episode and a really fun chat. And he's been kind enough to invite Kris and I on Nostalgium Arcanum several times. We talked Lord of the Rings: Two Towers last year, and A Christmas Story for the holidays, which was another really lovely chat. So Doug, it's great to finally have you here and on a panel with us to talk about one of our most nostalgic topics yet, but more on that in just a moment. Kris, who else is in the room with us tonight?
Yeah, it's not just the man of many voices. We've also got 2 absolute darlings of the pop break. We have both the hosts of the anime pop. Tonight we have Josh Sarnecky joining us. Josh, welcome back to Media Lit, my friend.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. It is always an honor to join you guys. So, no, I'm intimidated by our topic today, but thrilled to be here still.
You're gonna crush it. And joining us also, she might be the human Star Wars encyclopedia to the family over at the Pop Break, but here at Media Lit, she is the Queen Crow. Amanda Rivas, welcome back to Media Lit.
Oh, that pumped me up. Thank you for having me. Y'all know how much I love the Crow. And again, still my favorite guest appearance, period. It's hard. Yes. It's hard because I also love being on I know you have another established, wonderful, amazing human on this panel. So I love your next guest as well. So thank you for having me and Josh. And we're here. We're excited. I'm pumped.
Yes. Well, as Amanda just hinted, we've got one more person in the room on the panel with us tonight. You may have been watching Kris and I on our side project, Remedial Rewatch Community 101 with the great Tyler McCarthy. But we didn't invite him tonight. Instead, we invited the person who I'm sure Tyler would say is his better half. This is the wonderful Allie Nelson of the podcast Not Couple Goals on the Pop Break. She was here last year to talk about Zeebo the Clown and Are You Afraid of the Dark with us. our most listened to YouTube episode. Fun fact. For those of you who know Allie, she's always incredibly charming, fun, and funny. Allie, thanks for being here tonight. How are you doing?
Oh, you guys are so sweet. So I warned you beforehand. I am sort of in character as the human chipmunk. I'm a millennial woman. I do laser facials and such to keep myself looking young. So I have a bit of a swollen face from a laser facial, which I still would recommend. I did not expect the swollenness, but you got to do what you got to do. I also brought my own headshot so that you can remember me as I was and not for as I am now.
That is fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Allie, thank you so much for being here. I've been teasing that we've got a nostalgic topic on the table. We've been teasing that this is going to be kind of a crazy event. We've got a draft coming your way. But this draft has a whole framing device we have to get through before we even get to the draft. And this was a little piece of nostalgia that I've been looking for an excuse to revisit for quite some time. And this is the 1990 television special, Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. This was funded by McDonald's. It was endorsed by the first George Bush administration. If you catch this special on YouTube, you will see George and Barbara Bush doing a late, pretty apolitical introduction, although we'll talk a little bit about the politics of this particular piece of television as we get into it, I am sure. In addition to catching this on television, you could also take home the home video from McDonald's if you showed up at just the right moment. So a weird little moment in marketing. And what makes this particular television special so special is the fact that it is one of the ultimate IP crossovers. We have cartoons from so many different franchises. You've got the Ninja Turtles. You've got Bugs and Daffy of the Looney Tunes. You've got Winnie the Pooh. You've got Alvin and the Chipmunks. You've got the Smurfs and so many more. The Muppet Babies are here. And it's weird. But Kris, there's a weird little twist to this special because are these folks all just getting together for a good time? Like, who are they rescuing? What are they rescuing? What's the deal here?
These cartoon characters don't come to life for just anything. They don't step off your nightstand. They don't come out of the poster on your wall for just any old day. No. Unfortunately, one of the children in the household in question has been experimenting with some drugs.
Yeah.
And the special actually opens with a pretty heinous act of thievery.
Yeah.
We see his young hand slide into the half-cracked door of his sister's bedroom to steal her piggy bank.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the cartoon characters must come to life first to rescue the piggy bank, but more importantly, to rescue this young man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the era of the after-school special, the informative television special. And, there are some moments perhaps that work and have some positivity to them. This is essentially a piece of propaganda. It's coming out in the midst of the war on drugs. It's giving us a very simplistic message about drugs, how people get wrapped up in drugs, what causes addiction, what keeps people locked in cycles of addiction. This special very much presents it as nothing more than a strength of will question. There's a lot of both subtle and obvious sort of degradation of the characters who are struggling. Even if, there is something to having some strength and confidence in who you are and loving yourself. It's coming at us from a very strange place. So before we go any deeper and have fun with this, I do want to acknowledge that this is not a special that captures the nuance of addiction, something that so many people struggle with. If you are a human being, either you or someone you love is or has struggled with addiction at some point in their lives. And while I imagine some people attached to this project were well-meaning, certainly achieved more political goals than actual healing goals for people. Before I shift away from the serious tone, I didn't ask anyone to prepare any thoughts on this, but I just wanted to give folks a chance to pop in if you had anything quick you wanted to add on to this layer of the special.
I just wanted to add, did anybody else's mother tape it off of TV and then make them watch it over and over again? Because she literally did that.
Mine did.
That's, immigrant mom mentality.
Amazing.
My mom taped it off of television, but I actually asked her if she remembered it, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I had to pull it up for her. Still did not ring a single bell. I have to confess, it kind of worked on me. This message lived with me for my entire childhood and adulthood, really. All right. So, Kris, you were kind enough to introduce the basic setup here, but I did do a little classic Media Lit summary for us.
Amazing.
So let me just hit you with the basics of the special. I had to erase one draft because I had like a whole paragraph just about the confusing dynamics of where these characters are coming from and how they are manifesting themselves. And I decided to drop it because it was getting away from me. But here we are. After a young teen named Michael steals his sister Corey's piggy bank to fund his burgeoning drug addiction, the most beloved cartoon characters of 1990 come to life in order to fight Michael's addiction, which manifests as an evil plume of animated smoke. Bugs Bunny rolls in to shame Michael for his weakness. Michelangelo and the Muppet Babies send Michael on an acid trip from hell to scare him straight, and silly old Pooh Bear encourages Corey to get help from her parents. The whole crew even gets together for a musical number, but Michael doesn't commit to change until he realizes that his desperate little sister is considering following in his footsteps. At this point, he shields Corey from falling into the same pattern and agrees to turn to his family for support before the All-Stars return to the cartoon realm, locked in an eternal group photo on a promotional poster. That is Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue. Any key elements you'd like to highlight or add to that description, folks?
No, I'm just so glad that you called it an acid trip from hell.
Yeah.
Because the special may be intended to combat drugs, perhaps by making you feel like you're on drugs.
This
that
is
was my exact
brain.
thought. It's like, so everyone involved was on drugs? I question the logic here.
There had to have been tongue-in-cheek animators who were in there having a blast with this, knowing that they were making it what they were making it.
Look, the message is clear. Drugs are bad. Fever dreams are good.
Well, Randy said that it worked on him. It had this and like Dare had the opposite.
Thank you.
Attack. I did and I've done so many drugs, and I blame this and Dare for a lot of it because it makes it sound so interesting.
Yep.
And what's the line from The Simpsons? Why is everyone so obsessed with my forbidden closet of mystery?
And also, like they say, like, oh, sure, it makes you feel good for a while. Oh, it does?
Great.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. And then it talks about how it, like, it makes you see things. And really, when they talk about how, it makes you feel good for a while, and then Bugs Bunny does is like puff the bad guy up with stuff and then explode him, but he doesn't explain how that relates to drugs. Because do drugs just make you explode?
It's all very vague. All of the warnings, like they don't ever actually say anything overly poignant. It's just a lot of like, you're gonna throw your life away.
No, exactly. It was like your whole life is gonna be wasted, and it's you're a deadbeat.
You're gonna turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that cracked me up.
That's what got me most, right? Because as an adult cannabis user, like I'm a card carrying cannabis user in my adult life, I found this remarkably funny. Like thinking that, like specifically imagining that the Bushes like helped script this. They were like, yeah, that's what we should be telling kids. That's what they should fear. That's what's going to happen with the drugs, because that's what they believed without their own like experience. It was so obvious throughout the special how little research had been or has been done about these things, how little like concrete understanding of the positives or negatives of any of these substances were really grasped by the creators. It was just like, bad. You don't want to do stuff anymore. Look how lazy you are.
I wrote a couple times, what is his future? Like at one point, he's just looks like a zombie and laying on a slab, and that's his future. And I was like, where is he in time and space, and why does he look like a zombie?
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the last times America had a lot of, bipartisan cooperation, it was this war on drugs, which was not very kind to some of the human beings that it targeted. And this is a product of that era. But I want to get to our game quickly, but I did ask each panelist just to prep one standout moment from the special. If anything that actually had some nostalgic or emotional value managed to cut through the silliness, you're welcome to share that. It could be a personal nostalgic moment, or it could simply be zeroing in on one of the many what the fuck moments you encountered while reliving this special. Let's see. I am going to turn to Josh Sarnecky to kick us off here. What was your moment you decided to zero in on from this special?
Oh man. So this was my first time watching this, so I don't have any nostalgic connection with
Beautiful.
this. As the later millennial representing all of us later millennials here today. So many things stood out. The one that really just threw me for a loop was finding out that the musical number, Wonderful Ways to Say No, was from the Academy Award-winning duo of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, who did some of the most beloved Disney musicals of the 1990s. The thing about it that blew my mind even more was that this whole musical number is focused on all these characters who are totally incomprehensible. I was like, what are the lyrics for this song? I can't tell what's going on. We're going from the Chipmunks to Michelangelo to the Smurfs. Like, I can't understand any of this.
When your friends say, let's get wrecked, muster up your self-respect.
Yeah, that
Did you
was
just make
so
that up?
great.
I couldn't even understand it.
I couldn't understand it either. I was like, wait, how do I say no?
And they're not even giving you real, they're just literally telling you the word no and other phrases that also mean no. Like there isn't any like, tactics involved.
Tigger says you can spit in the person's eye and tell them no. That's practical advice.
This actually makes me kind of sad, knowing that, like, Howard Ashman was on his way out from AIDS at this point. Like, this guy was working on the Academy Award-winning music that would go into Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast at this point. And he must have been sitting there going, like, really? I've got, like, 18 months left on planet Earth, and I have to write this? Okay. You know, that is very, very
maybe
depressing.
he just spent a half hour or so on that.
Well, I'm sure clearly he didn't spend much of his limited time on Earth on this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe he should just said learned how to no. Just say no. Maybe.
Josh, you kicked us off with the perfect observation. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep it on anime pop for the moment. I'm going to turn to Amanda Rivas next. What's your moment?
I was cracking up at the use of Michelangelo in this. I'm like, come on. That's like the most tongue-in-cheek. We're talking about weed. And, and I'm like, who has that reputation a little bit? Who's like got the munchies? Who's got like the stereotypical vibe that comes from, this is what everybody says you're going to have. And I cracked up so hard. I watched this as a kid a few times because my mom also recorded it and I was also a product of Dare. And I was surprised at how much I remembered, but I just died laughing because I was like, if you're going to pick a Ninja Turtle, probably would have picked Donatello, Leonardo,
or like at least like lean into the turtle's tendencies.
Yeah, but it cracked. I laughed. That was, I guess, like my WTF moment because I was like, you just made it more appealing. If anything else, like if you want to be chill like Michelangelo, I gotcha.
Perfect.
That was my moment.
He could have just said that, he's a party dude, but he doesn't party like that. That would have been brilliant. He make no mention of the fact that he is, in fact, a party dude, but still doesn't do drugs. Foolish.
Yeah. If you want someone to judge your integrity, bring Leonardo in for that.
Exactly.
Kris Ingersoll, what was your key moment?
You know what? I was going to go with Mikey, so I'm glad Amanda did. I'm going to go just a beat later. We got the Muppet Babies. I don't know why we're involving Muppet Babies. Like, I don't know what children they thought would be watching this and like what age groups they were concerned about being impacted by peer pressure to try drugs, but preschoolers were apparently among them. When we get Kermit and Miss Piggy on, and like Miss Piggy's being wildly inappropriate as always.
Yeah.
They're on this death roller coaster inside the young man's brain, and that's where this special really takes a turn to Tripsville. I mean, at this point, we're all tripping on drugs as we're going through his brain. It becomes increasingly terrifying. Like, if scaring him straight was the point, this was the moment. Everything else is nonsense. Like, this poor boy is going to need significant therapy after this experience. He's going to need prescription drugs after this experience, as he has been fried by the Muppet Babies. And all the while, Piggy is like that perfect blend. She's so perfectly Miss Piggy of like flirting with Kermit and screaming at Kermit.
Yeah.
You know, and she just can't wait to get on the Love Boat after. It's brilliant.
Although the highlight of the song is definitely her hiya.
Yeah.
For sure. Doug, Lief, what was your key moment from this very strange piece of television?
I'll preface this by saying, I was born in 1980, so these are my characters, that I grew up with. And so I did see this, I'm sure, like I had very vague memories of seeing it because like when you're a kid, any cartoon crossover is like, oh shit, it's happening. Like you're really excited for that. And so there had certainly been times that had happened. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, all right, pretty much anyone's fair game. Who are they going to pull? What character is going to show up? And at some point I went like, I bet they're going to pull someone from the real Ghostbusters. And it's Slimer of all of them. And Slimer comes out and I'm like, Slimer is based. First of all, he shouldn't talk. That bothers me that he talks instead of just being Frank Welker going blah, 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 blah. But Slimer is based on, of course, the character from the movie who is famously based on John Belushi, who died of drugs. And like, I was thinking like, I know no kid is watching that and making the connection, but here I am at 45 going like, well, that is an interesting turn of events. The animators certainly know what happened to John Belushi. So that stuck out for me as being like, okay, there are no holds barred in this special.
Yeah. Perfect example, Doug. Thank you. Allie, how about for you?
So the thing that had always burned itself into my brain, and I would think of it every so often and think, wait, did I dream that? That was real? Was the roller coaster ride through the brain that, with the Muppet Babies, which was just, because it's just not, if you describe it to someone who hasn't seen it, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? But the thing I was struck with as an adult was the weed to crack pipeline that they were connecting in here. And I was like, that is a huge jump to go from smoking weed to suddenly let's buy some crack. And also the fact that they didn't seem to care about the girl who had stolen his wallet to go and buy crack. Maybe we should be talking to her and stopping. But they were like, no, Michelangelo, or he could not have cared less about this girl.
I think Jem was on it.
Causes.
I think Jem and Rainbow Bright were on it. I think they were just around the next corner.
Nice.
Well, you all covered so many perfect moments here. I had a lot on my list, but I will just settle for reasons I cannot explain. I love Alf, real Alf. I love animated Alf. But at one point during the song, he takes down a portion of the Berlin Wall because that was a recent cultural moment. I'm not sure what the drug tie is there, but I guess it was meant to make him look cool and powerful or something. But yeah, Alf takes down the Berlin Wall was maybe the strangest thing. And I've just got to shout out George C. Scott as the voice of the evil plume of smoke. General Turgidson of Dr. Strangelove fame, Patton himself, in this piece is wild to me as well.
So, as someone who was only born in 92, is the Cold War not ended with Alf destroying the Berlin Wall? I may have mistook that. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused here. Sorry.
It is. That's the reason right there.
Okay, there
Just
we
had
go.
to make sure it was known to everyone.
Which is why the Alf series finale is him being taken into custody by the government.
Yes. Facts.
Perfect sense.
After feasting on cats. Well, folks, that was Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue. It was, a piece of propaganda. We can call it propaganda. We can call it well-intentioned, but I think we can all agree it did not quite accomplish its goals. That being said, Doug said it best earlier. When a crossover happens, you do feel like, holy shit, it's happening. So that got Kris and I thinking, what if we got to draft our own teams of Cartoon All-Stars to help us fight an issue that we care about? So that is the name of the game tonight. I've got a lot of rules here. I will not bore our audience with every single one, but let me give you the gist of what's happening. Prior to the draft, I revealed a draft order for the evening through a random list generator. When we get along to the draft, Kris Ingersoll will draft first, Amanda Rivas second, Allie Nelson third, I will draft fourth, Josh will draft fifth, and Doug Lief will draft sixth on the turn in our snake draft. What are we drafting? We are drafting characters and sets of characters from 20th century animated children's television, which is a pretty broad range. But we've also invited the aughts to play because this is a millennial moment. And depending on where you landed on the millennial spectrum, some of those shows from the 2000s belong here in this conversation. So we didn't want to exclude them. So the loose sort of standard we came up with was the show had to have aired in the United States or in syndication within the United States, and it premiered in 2009 or earlier. Those were our criteria here. We brainstormed 100 shows pretty quickly. We did not cover everything that's eligible tonight, but we got a lot of the biggies. I suspect we'll largely pull from that list, but I'm excited to see what people surprise us with. I even maybe have a couple of surprise shows that I didn't brainstorm initially that I might go to before the night is over. Here's what you need to know about the draft. We are going to be drafting into 8 categories. The first category is going to be a cartoon sidekick, a loyal companion who supports our hero, a mentor, a wise character who guides our hero. We are going to have an innocent, naive, and optimistic character. We are going to have a trickster or a villain. We are going to have one dynamic duo, a pair you just couldn't separate. A golden trio, a set of 3 folks who exist in perfect harmony, or possibly chaos for the purposes of a cartoon together. And everyone's going to get to draft one full either team or community of cartoon characters. And of course, we'll also have a wild card slot to fill in the blanks and try to cover this. Now, we are drafting thousands of characters. So the way this is going to work is once somebody drafts a character from one show, that show is off the table and gone for the rest of the draft. If someone takes the Wuzzles, the entire team of character combos from the short-lived Disney animated series, no one can then go in and take a single Wuzzle later on. So the field is going to get small pretty quickly, but it's going to encourage us to go deep into our nostalgia. We're also going to be playing with the line of what is children's programming and what is not. That's certainly up for debate to a certain extent. But at least for now, we've kind of deemed things like South Park and The Simpsons as animation that was made more directly for adults. I'm not suggesting those were not huge parts of people's childhoods, but we're trying to play with that slightly more innocent brand of animation. That being said, there are plenty of shows on this list that are going to play with that line. If we think anyone's gone out of line in the draft, we're going to have the option to veto. And if someone seconds that veto, the drafter will have to change up their pick. This is just meant to keep us honest, but we'll see how it plays out. Kris, any other rules or details you want to highlight before we get this thing rolling?
Nope, you about covered it. My role tonight is going to be to keep this thing moving from drafter to drafter. For every pick, each drafter will have 1 minute on the clock. That'll be the opportunity to make their pick and justify it if they feel it necessary, for fear of the possible veto mechanic.
For sure. All right. I think without further ado, Kris, I think we can start our first pick and get it up on the clock.
Okay, I will put myself on the clock with the first overall pick. As Randy mentioned, there was a pitch coming at the end of this, even a soft pitch, and so it was really important to me to nail down first and foremost my mentor character. We're all going to be wrestling with some tough topics tonight, and it was important that I had the right guide to bring my character through it all. And so, with the number 1 overall pick, I'm very happy to secure for myself the OG mentor in my life,
Hmm.
none other than Master Splinter.
Yes.
And with Splinter, unfortunately, the entirety of the TMNT television show will come off the board as well.
Oh, that's true.
Wow.
Ah, but great pick. He was on my list too. If he didn't make, if mine got snaked.
Same. I think. Did anybody not have Splinter somewhere on their piece of paper?
Yeah. I mean, I just was looking off blankly in the distance because I was crossing Ninja Turtles off of my lists.
Yeah, it's a broad draft. There's a lot of options. I'm not sure how much we'll be stealing from each other tonight, but I felt fairly certain that Master Splinter wouldn't stay safe if I didn't grab him right now. So,
I mean, it's a perfect pick, Kris. We're all a little bit jealous. I'm sad we won't get to talk about those turtle dynamics, but I understand your logic.
appreciate you. Came in well under time, but it's time to move on. With the second pick in the draft, Amanda Rivas, you are on the clock.
Oh, Kris, thank you. I was worried, probably of everybody here, that you would snake my pick because I'm also going with the mentor category.
Oh.
And because my mentor is one of the key parts for my pitch later. It's a very specific pitch. And I got to take Miss Frizzle.
Wow. Yes.
You just
Yeah.
took my mentor, yeah.
I'm sorry, but I need her. I need her specific abilities because she is essential to my pitch. And you will understand why when you hear it. I'm sorry, guys. Don't hate me, but I need her.
Great.
And her
Killing me.
fashion. And her fashion. Sorry, Josh. I'm sorry, Allie.
No hard feelings.
No, it made, she was like number one for mentor. Like, could you ask for a better mentor than Miss Frizzle?
I am a teacher, and I often wish I had my own magic school bus to help make learning that fun.
I mean, if there was anyone to guide you through the human colon, it's Miss Friz.
You know, none better. So Allie,
Save Lemmy Winks.
you missed it by just a pick, Allie. You were so close. You're coming in with a third overall pick.
Okay.
You are on the clock.
I'm going to go with my dynamic duo. So this is two characters, right? I understood that correctly. Two characters,
Perfection.
yeah, inseparable. I'm going with Pinky and the Brain.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
pick.
I just think like of any cartoon dynamic duo, that's the one. I mean, I got scared that they were going to be the first pick when the show was opened with them.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
iconic.
Now, I've got to ask, is this Pinky and the Brain from their own spin-off series or Pinky and the Brain as part of the Animaniacs cast?
I'm going to go with the spinoff so that we're not knocking off all of Animaniacs. And
Very
they also
kind.
had a weird one that was Pinky and the Brain and Elmira that was a short-lived spinoff. So there was a lot of Pinky and the Brain
Forgot
content.
about that.
Wow.
I
I thought
did
about
too.
that today.
Whoa.
Like a fever dream. I thought I made that up and I didn't.
Great pick. All right. Coming in next, we've got Randy with the fourth pick. Randy, you've got 1 minute on the clock.
Well, as you know, Kris, I really struggle consistently with these time limits for my picks. So I'm a little bit nervous. I actually have several shows on my draft list ahead of this one, but Allie made me so nervous right now. I think I'm going to jump a little bit further down the list than I thought. I think there are a lot of creative ways to come up with a great trio in this draft. Some more obvious than others, some that require a little bit more creativity. But I'm going to pick an obvious one, and that is, of course, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, the Warner brothers and sister of Animaniacs. This show might be the most special cartoon from my childhood. It had this uniquely irreverent brand of humor, yet it also was very interested in trying to educate you. The Yakko's World Geography song, despite the fact that it's full of a ton of flawed geography, still has a great spirit. In my special, if I can have characters who can break the rules and pull a presentation screen down out of thin air at any moment, I can go almost anywhere with that. So there you go.
Very well picked. Excellent choice. Randy is the first one to break the clock tonight, but only because he took time to tell us first that he's the kind of person who breaks the clock.
You can see why.
Fantastic. Great pick. We're moving on to Josh now with our fifth pick of the draft. Josh, you're on the clock.
Okay, so I'm going to start mine with a preemptive apology because I already feel like I'm going to upset people with this. And I'm going to give a special apology to you, Kris, because you run a podcast about this character. But we have a dynamic duo category. And how can I not choose the dynamic duo? I need Batman and Robin from the animated series. No brainer. I know if I wait any longer, it's not going to still be there. So I have to go for it now. I'm sorry.
More than respectable. They are the definition of the dynamic duo. This was the right pick. I have lost my sidekick in this pick, but I respect it and I understand.
Josh, you've also angered Doug Lief, who has appeared with us for one of our Batman episodes as well. So
Josh is just pulling a Game of Thrones over here. Red Wedding.
I had a few Batman characters sprinkled in my possibles here, but that's okay. I had a hunch that that series would be snatched up pretty quick.
That's right. Batman, the animated series, is off the board. Not to give away any picks, but to clarify, Batman Beyond, still on the board. Randy and I decided that is a distinct enough separate show, despite some carryover characters. So, not all of the Batmen are gone, just BTAS and all of those fantastic rogues. Heartbreaking. Okay, well, with that, Doug, it is now your pick, sir. Your turn to break some hearts. You're on the clock with 1 minute.
All right, so I'm going to go with my sidekick first.
Nice.
And I'm going to take good old dependable Launchpad McQuack.
Yes.
From DuckTales.
Yes. Yep.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this, I'm going to make him Launchpad from Darkwing Duck.
Nice.
So that way I will leave
So
DuckTales out
nice.
for other people to snatch up. So, how can you not love Launchpad? Any crash you can walk away from. He's just so big-hearted and stupid, but he's very loyal, and obviously he works cheap because that's why Scrooge keeps him around. But yeah, I'm going with Launchpad.
Perfect pick, and very kind of you to select Darkwing Duck. Okay, well, we are doing this thing snake draft style. So, Doug, you got 1 full minute back on the clock to make your next pick.
All right, so I'm going to go with my dynamic duo for my next pick, and I got to go with my boys, Ren Hoek and Stimpson J. Cat. I'll be taking Ren and Stimpy with me into this special.
Amazing.
So, I can't explain it. I just love them so much, even though they are disgusting and abusive and horrifying on every level.
I was allowed to watch so many inappropriate things as a child. Not even allowed to, like invited to, forced to, as I was just in the room as my parents watched whatever they were watching. But Pinky and the Brain was a line my mother could not see crossed. They were too gross. They were too
Really?
gross.
Pinky and the Brain?
Pinky
Or
and the
Ren
Brain?
and Stimpy.
Or Ren and Stimpy.
Sorry, Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
Ren and Stimpy, yes. Yeah.
My mom too was like, but did I still sneak and watch it? Yeah, I did.
Don't whiz on the electric fence.
I have shown my son Happy Happy Joy Joy, and it brought him Happy Happy Joy Joy. So, yep.
An influence, I think, on Dana Terrace. You see a lot of that same gross out animation in Owl House and her other creations. Excellent choice, Doug. I'm not surprised. I'm really excited to see where you continue to go with this draft. Lots of deep cuts from you. Bringing it back around to Josh, though. Josh, with your second pick of the draft, you've got 1 minute on the clock.
Okay, so I'm feeling very relieved now because my strategy and my pitch was really dependent on these first 2 picks. And so I'm so surprised but grateful that this option's still there. So I'm going to go for my team or community. So I'm going to go for a legendary team, one that has a pretty famous mascot, and that is Scooby-Doo and Mystery Inc.
Nice.
Give me the Mystery Machine. Give me Shaggy, Velma, Fred, Daphne, all of them. Scrappy, he can stay home. I don't need him, but I'll take the rest of them.
Fantastic. I assume you're thinking of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But I think that we're assuming, right, all the very many weird little sub Scooby-Doo shows are now off the board. Yes.
Yeah. I also love a pup named Scooby-Doo, but I'll stick with the adult versions for now.
Good man. Good man.
Fair enough.
All right. That brings us back now to you, Randy, with your second pick. You've got 1 minute on the clock.
Okay. So many great opportunities out here for me still. Let's see. We're going to go with Mentor. I've got lots of great options here. All right. I'm going to turn to mentor, and I am going to once again take advantage of a kind gift from another panelist. I'm going to go DuckTales, and I am going to take Master Adventurer Scrooge McDuck as my mentor into my special.
And he's got the money, too. Well played. Well played.
We can go for a nice swim in those gold coins. I can't wait.
I know how passionate you are about the show, about the modern reboot of this show. So I had a feeling if it was available to you, you're going to find a way to slot them in somewhere on the board. Well done.
For sure. And like, to be clear, I realize I am in the classic series here, but that was one of the shows that awakened my sense of adventure and my love for that type of series. It was like a way to get Indiana Jones in a kid form. And yeah, I've always loved it, always will.
Wonderful. All right, Allie, we're back to you. It's your second pick, and you've got 1 minute on the clock.
So I've moved around the order I was going to because I've lost so many of my mentors. I lost this result. My second one was Velma, who I think would be a fantastic mentor. So I'm going to go with my next one, which was Jean Grey from X-Men the Animated Series.
Yes.
Great pick.
Beautiful.
Great pick.
Devastating to lose the whole show and the wonderful cast that's there. But a great pick, a clear leader of the X-Men, a powerful force. I'm curious whether or not we have any danger of running into the Dark Phoenix during this after-school special. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but the entity is there.
I can just see the pain on Amanda's face that she's not going to be hanging with Gambit.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really use him for my pitch, though. I mean, I could totally have worked him into my pitch somehow, but
I was thinking of using Gambit and Rogue and Magneto as a trio.
Nice.
But then I realized that was too much to the 97.
Well,
right, not the OG series, but rather the most recent season. So
I was thinking about Beast for mine, for one of my categories, and I was like, oh, there he goes. But I knew he was
He'd have
going
been a good mentor too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have a chance to pick somebody now, Amanda, because it is your second pick, and you've got 1 minute on the clock.
Well, I'm a little nervous about I'm kind of shifting my strategy around a little bit, and I want to make sure I grab the show before somebody else does, because it's one that I love and one that I feel these characters that I'm going to build a trio out of are going to be a very stable presence for my pitch. And I'm going to go with Doug, Skeeter, and Peppermint Patty for my trio.
Beautiful trio.
Well done. Well done.
Mayonnaise, you lucky son of a gun.
You could have taken the beets.
Peppermint Patty mayonnaise. There we go. I thought of, the beets did cross my mind. I'm hoping I get them adjacently.
Yeah. They can provide the soundtrack, I guess.
They could.
Yeah, there's going to be at least a poster in the room, and maybe there'll be a cartoon All-Stars within the cartoon All-Stars, and they can hop out of that poster.
I want that to happen for me as an adult.
I have a good friend who's gone as Quail Man for Halloween.
Yes.
Times,
I love that.
Yes.
I want to snag that as a person named Doug. So,
but can you get Pork Chop as a bonus?
He's joining my party. He's just got to.
He's tagging along. He's there. He's there somewhere.
What's the name of their town? Do you want to turn this to a community pick?
Right? No, I have a different team in mind, but I think this trio is going to be a great part of the pitch that I have.
Beautiful.
All right. It's my turn again. Let me give myself 1 minute on the clock, but I'm not going to need the full minute for this next pick. I'm going to zero in now, I think, on the trickster category. The category isn't that important to my pitch necessarily, but it feels like a category with a clear number one overall candidate. And this is where I'm going to take the iconic, the indomitable, the truly unique Bugs Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate trickster, one who is never going to have one put over on him, but will always be putting one over on you. Be you friend or foe, Bugs Bunny is the consummate prankster. And so I'm thrilled to have him as my trickster. With this, the OG Looney Tunes will come off the board. I think that leaves you Tiny Toon University. Yeah, we can say that Tiny Toon University is still on the board, Randy? Separate
Yeah, we've got
separate
Tiny
show?
Toons as a separate entity, a different generation of
Yeah.
tunes.
Yeah. Okay. I've got another pick to make, putting 1 minute back on the board, and I'm not certain where to go now. I feel like I'm not in danger in a lot of these categories because they are so broad, and I think that maybe my passions aren't shared by everyone. My sidekick is gone was the only other one that I was really passionate about. There's a part of me that acknowledges that the Teen Titans are eligible for this draft, which is a team made up of sidekicks, and any one of them would be a viable pick. But are any one of them truly sidekicks on that show where they are their own? The idea is that they are not sidekicks anymore. Is that going to get a veto if I pick Robin from Teen Titans? I would respect it if anybody wants to step up and veto Robin from Teen Titans, because it takes Teen Titans off the board too.
You get a stamp of approval from me.
You do too. They were on my list for something else, but my first choice is still available. So you have no veto from me.
I'll allow it. I think it fits well within the rules, and I don't think you're overpowered yet.
Okay.
And if the person who already picked Batman and Robin is fine with it, I'm fine with it.
I looked straight to Josh Sarnecky and I was like, if Josh says yes, I say yes.
His blessing meant a lot to me. I think it's important that when we picture the thumbnail for this image, it's a very differently animated Robin than the Batman the Animated Series Robin. They're very distinctly different characters, and I see them. If I was going to study this character, I would have a paragraph in my book for each of them. They'd each have their own chapter, right? Thank you. All right, that does it for me. We're going back now to Amanda Rivas for her third pick.
I'm actually going to go into the innocent category because I feel like, given the popularity of this show, my ideal innocent character is going to go, or at least the show is going to go, and I've got to go with the naive, goodest, hilarious boy, and my child's favorite right now, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nice.
Aw, yes.
His favorite right now. Favorite. We've been
I'm
on
a little bit
nonstop.
mad. I was about to take Plankton, so I'm a little bit bummed to see that happen, but great pick. I mean,
I had SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward in my trio, so I respect the pick.
The ultimate chaotic trio. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, to make enemies. Sorry, don't get mad.
I'm honestly surprised SpongeBob is still here this late. So
Same. Yeah. It's all in the spirit of the draft. All right. Allie, you're up. 1 minute on the clock.
I don't know how popular the show was going to be, but I couldn't live with my childhood self. This was my security blanket doll, like the doll that I dragged around everywhere with me. So I'm going to go with, for sidekick, Babs Bunny from Tiny Toon Adventure.
Great pick.
I love that show.
Yes. An exclamation point next to this one for some reason as I wrote it down. I felt very strongly about that pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just yesterday amazed my 6-year-old by showing him the clip of baby Plucky Duck flushing everything down the toilet.
Yeah.
That was the first time as a kid I saw a sketch that made me laugh until I cried.
Kitty go down the hole. He watched it 4 times. It was incredible.
It still makes me laugh as an adult.
But yeah, Babs was really freaking cool.
Yeah. Superior to the Lola Bunny that everybody confuses her with from Space Jam.
She's not being sexualized. She was just a cool ass chick.
Exactly right. Fantastic. All right, Randy, you're up, buddy. 1 minute on the clock. What do you got?
All right. I'm actually pretty happy because I know exactly where I'm going. This is something I considered picking with my number 1 overall pick because it was such a formative show for me growing up. And because this particular team or community understands the power of imagination better than any other team. And I'm going to take the full Muppet Babies team to add to my special.
Damn.
Great pick.
Amazing. Randy, yes.
I'm really glad your team is going to be able to open a closet to clips from silent movies.
Same. Although I guess SpongeBob can do that as well. Nosferatu.
Are we going to get Nanny's legs walking through the frame at any point?
I mean, we have to. If I've got the whole team or community, they need Nanny for sure.
Yeah. Wonderful. This show meant a ton to me as well. It means a ton to my daughter. She loves the modern version of this show, which holds up tremendously
It's
well.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, their imaginations are still fire. All right, great pick, buddy. And
Thank you.
Brings us now to Josh Sarnecky.
Ooh, oh man. So again, feeling less pressure after I got my first 2 picks in. I feel like I should go for a mentor, but I'm feeling maybe falsely confident that I can wait for that. So I'm going to go for someone who I'm less confident will be there. So I'm going to go for my golden trio. And I know we said they could be in perfect harmony together, but who doesn't want a little chaos? So to announce my pick, I prepared a poem. Ahem. Prepare for trouble and make it double. To protect the world from devastation, to unite all peoples within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Give me Jesse, James, and Meowth of Team Rocket from Pokemon, the series.
Well played.
They were on my list, Josh.
They were on my, well, the franchise, some of it was on one of my lists. Well played, sir. Well played.
So, being amongst the older millennials on this podcast, I missed Pokemon.
Same.
But I've been getting back into it because I have 2 boys who are Pokemon age right now. And I just assumed Team Rocket were like the bad guys. I didn't realize until recent years that they're like the best comedy duo of all time. They're like the most lovable, stupid oafs. And yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're like kind of Boris and Natasha. They're not much of a threat, really. Great pick, Josh. Love that. Doug, coming back to you, sir, for your third pick, and you've got 1 minute on the clock.
All right, so I'll go for my trickster. This character did not start life as a cartoon, but they made a cartoon out of it because it was the 80s and they made a cartoon out of everything. So say it with me 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I'm taking the ghost with the most as my trickster.
Beautiful.
Amazing choice. I didn't even consider.
He was on my list for trickster as well. Well played.
Yeah, same. I've lost all of my tricksters so far.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I mean,
pick.
like Beetlejuice is the pick, but like I had Lydia on my list as a sidekick as well.
She's awesome on that show, yeah.
Wow. Love that. Doug, for your 4th pick, you've got 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, I'm looking what I got left. I guess I'll go with my team pick here. And so I'm going to pick a team that is reliably heroic and never fails to dispatch a bad guy, especially one that's the size of a skyscraper. And I'm taking Voltron Force into the fray.
Yes.
I'm going to assemble 5 gigantic lions for no reason, because nothing on that show happens for any understandable reason. And we're going to fight some stuff. And I know there's like 2 possible pilots for the Blue Lion. I guess I'll take the girl one because we should have a girl one, and Lance is off the show pretty quick. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with. Going the version of Voltron Force that has Princess. I can't even remember her name. Shoot,
Laura?
Alora, I think. Yeah,
Wait, this was your team, Doug?
this is my team. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm going with Voltron
perfect.
Force.
Yeah. Wonderful choice. Two excellent back-to-back picks there. Okay. Well, that allows us to move on back to Josh Sarnecky. Josh, this is going to be your 4th overall pick.
Okay, so I've actually filled out all of my duo, trio, and community, so I'm only down to single characters now. So I feel like that gives me a little bit more wiggle room with my choices.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to go trickster just because I feel like those have been going pretty quickly. And I know I'm the baby of this podcast, but I still don't know if I can trust this one to last longer.
Mm-hmm.
So for my trickster / villain, I'm going to take Mojo Jojo of the Powerpuff Girls.
Excellent.
Nice.
Josh. That's okay. I'll allow it. I was actually going to try to snag Ron and Rufus for my duo. You and I, this is how we tell we're friends. We mind melded. But great pick.
I
Great
did have
pick.
Buttercup, Blossom, and Bubbles as my top choice in a trio. That's okay.
Oh wait, Mojo is Powerpuff, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. So you're
my
still
brain.
good with Kim
Okay.
Possible.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys.
Yeah,
Other picks. I have
Just
other
showed your
picks.
hand.
You're good.
My brain
Good.
is like, cartoon overload right now. Too much nostalgia in a good way.
That's absolutely what it is.
Because I'm like, it's just amazing. I think how much you remember. Sometimes just I don't remember where to put my keys, and or did I close the garage door?
Mhm.
But a lot of these, I'm like, wow. I felt like I watched this like yesterday, even though I haven't watched this in 15, 20 years or longer. I'm having a lot of fun.
I watched some episodes of certain shows in order to make my draft.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, some stuff is as fresh as yesterday, that's for sure. Well, Randy, it's your chance to go into the Wayback Machine again with your fourth overall pick. You've got 1 minute on the clock.
All right. Well, I was very confident last time. This time around, I cannot seem to decide which category to go in. So I guess I'm just going to look to two places. I'm going to look at my original list. What did I have up near the top that's still actually on the board? And I've got to look down to the shirt I'm wearing tonight. But I'm not actually going to take Perry the Platypus. For my dynamic duo, I'm going to take Phineas and Ferb.
I left them for you, buddy.
Why not grab these two geniuses, add them to my team? The imagination on my current roster right now is just like running overtime. The possibilities are so endless. I think they could create their own reality through the power of imagination, but I'm excited to see it. I mean, Phineas and Ferb kind of do that daily. It's their thing.
Glad you picked them here. I left them on the board after my last two picks. If they were still on the board when it came back to me, they were not going to last.
Okay, good to know.
Took it. Glad you did it. Glad you did it. All right.
Whew.
Two excellent characters, always getting into the best adventures, never getting into any trouble. It's a childhood dream, Phineas and Ferb. All right, Allie, back to you now for your fourth pick. You have 1 minute.
So these are going so fast, and it's so hard. So I lost almost all of my tricksters on my list, so I'm going to have to go with pretty low on my list, but I still think a good pick because I'm worried somebody else will choose somebody from the show. So Eddie Brock / Venom for my trickster. So taking Spider-Man the animated series off.
Beautiful.
Well played.
Wow, did not see that coming.
He's very specific for mine now. I have to wedge him in, but I think he works.
So good. A tough show to lose off the board. Iconic to my childhood, most certainly. I didn't have a spot for Spidey himself, but the show was something I'd hoped to find space for.
Beautiful.
All right. Amanda.
Well, I showed my hand on this one because this was the category I was the most nervous about, and I appreciate they're still on the board, and that is the duo. My other categories, I think I've got some wiggle room on, and I'm breathing safe so far. The only one that I think maybe could probably read my mind is going to be Josh. So, that's what happens. Like, I mean, obviously, Randy, Kris, you guys know, the mind melding happens. And it's like, okay, who's gonna know who? So my duo, I gotta get Ron, gotta get Rufus. Like, they are chaotic good in the best possible way. And Rufus, it's Rufus. Like, how can you not have him on the team at all? And I loved Kim Possible, like, too. Just, she was just such a great character. I think that just the cast all the way, or just, everybody around it was a great, great series. So I got to get my duo in because I think they'll fit perfectly in the pitch that I have.
If there's a naked mole rat available, you pick the naked mole rat.
No brainer.
All right. Very good. Excellent pick. It's back to me now, and I'm going to put 1 minute on the board. I need my duo. Every duo I had listed has been taken except for one, and this is where I will be happy to take the cat and the mouse. Sometimes enemies, sometimes friends. Give me Tom and Jerry.
Nice.
They were my next pick. Yeah. That was a good pick.
Iconic duo. There's a lot that we can do. they had the best of cartoon physics. Right, we can pull whole hammers out of the back of our non-pockets because we're cats with fur. There's a lot that they can get up to if I need them to in this cartoon special. Okay, that's
And
right.
Go ahead, Doug.
I was gonna say I have a I don't have a lot of animation stuff, but I do have a production pencil drawing of Jerry that
wow,
that was given to me as a gift, and so I have that hanging in my office. So
That's
has a special place
amazing.
for me.
Love
So
that.
cool.
Really cool.
And they even bring us Itchy and Scratchy.
That's right. That's right. Cute mouse. Especially, that's a great drawing. Okay. I think I need to go trio now with my next pick. I'm not scared in the innocent category. I feel pretty safe there. I feel pretty safe in team and wild. Yeah, it's got to be the trio. This is where I'm happy to. This is not a show that I watched when it was on. This is a show that I actually didn't really engage with until I shared it with my daughter, and we watched every episode end to end, and now more than once. I'm very happy to go to the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and to take for my golden trio Aang, Katara, and Sokka.
Great pick. I actually had Aang. I was looking at Aang as the sidekick.
Oh,
great pick.
Well done. I was hoping maybe I could get Uncle Iroh as my mentor, but well played.
I considered Iroh for the mentor as well. I did.
I actually had the cursor over Uncle Iroh on my list, Kris, because I thought that's who you were taking first overall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was more challenged in trio, and it was important to me to have this trio available to me there, and so that was where I started the show overall. Yeah. And anywho, Master Splinter meant more to me as a child, though Iroh is who I most aspire to be as an adult.
Iroh was taken first in our Avatar draft over Anime Pop. Aaron picked him, and he just broke everyone's hearts immediately.
He did. We're still brokenhearted over here, but we still love you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Just
Iroh singing Soldier Boy to his son will break me.
Oh gosh, don't even start with that.
Every time. All right, before we go down that emotional rabbit hole, we'll go back to Amanda for her next pick in 1 minute on the clock. Amanda.
So mine is going to be a trickster, but there was a show that was not on here that I thought would be an interesting addition. I feel like it kind of gave the same like Teen Titans Go kind of energy, kind of that era, if you will. And I wanted to pick Invader Zim from Invader Zim. Give me Zim as a trickster. Because obviously trying to take over the world, different ways, hiding his identity, always doing something zooey. I think he's a very hilarious villain, and yet still has like a little bit of a heart of gold too at times. Like Zim is just one of the best out there in that era. And I'm like, I need to have Invader Zim as my trickster. So that's why I could breathe a little easy, because I had that one in my back pocket. If everyone's okay with that.
Absolutely.
No, perfect pick. Fully fits. It was an oversight on our list of 100 sample shows as well.
You guys had an incredible list. Your list inspired me to think of Invader Zim.
Well, I'm glad it did that.
And my son wearing his Gur hoodie also inspired me. So
I was just in a Hot Topic recently, and I promise you the Invader Zim merch is still strong.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. We still see Gurs at cons all the time. Seth got so excited because he had his Gur hoodie on for New York City Comic Con, and he saw another Gur, and he's like, "It's a Gur!" It's great. So I'm glad there's still a lot of love for Invader Zim because it's fantastic.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
All right, Allie, coming back to you now. It's your fifth pick. We're getting near to the end.
Yes.
1 minute on the clock.
It's hard because you're trying to almost play like defense, where you're like, what show is going to get taken, even if it's not my character? So I'm going to go with my wild card, actually.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to go with Lois Lane from Superman.
Yep.
Yes.
I think no matter what your topic is, Lois would be a boon to any team.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had her in so many categories. So many categories. Like, Lois Lane, she could fit in that.
Mm-hmm.
No longer.
What a Renaissance woman, truly.
She has transcended a really tough trope. Like, she could be just like the iconic damsel in distress, but she's not. She is in every iteration just A force to be reckoned with. Great pick. All right. Randy, back to you now, sir.
All right. Well, I've reached the point in the draft where I've got to try to start putting the pieces together for my story. How is this all going to come together for me? And I'm trying to look at the characters that are most likely to help me do that. I'm I know we're saving this reveal for later. I think I've decided what my cause is going to be. And I think that one character who could help me get there in the sidekick role, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to take Garfield.
Great pick.
Garfield's going to be my sidekick. I've got a lot of action, adventurers, dreamers. I think I need someone who's bringing a different energy to the team.
But is Garfield the
zero
sidekick?
Energy?
Is Garfield the sidekick? Isn't he the main character?
Oh, it's an interesting. It's interesting. He is a protagonist of the show. I'm sure John Arbuckle thinks that Garfield is his sidekick. The audience knows that that's not true. I was perhaps inspired by Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, where Garfield was able to step into a sidekicky role to support someone. That's where I was coming from. But I can pivot if there's a veto. I understand where you're coming from, Doug.
What if you picked James Garfield?
I would veto James Garfield.
Nice.
I'm not vetoing it. I was just curious.
I think there's sound logic. I don't feel strongly enough about it to veto it by any means, but I do think it's probably more, Inception, that he was the sidekick to Alf after being bullied into it by Alf. Alf was not a good example of empathy and a soft touch.
He threatened him with death.
He threatened him with death is what he did. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he eats cats.
We're here to teach just one valuable lesson, not multiple valuable lessons. Today's message is about not doing drugs. It is not about nonviolence. So there you go. Garfield, man, great pick. Love that for you. John definitely thinks that's his sidekick. All right. That brings us now to Josh Sarnecky. Josh, what are you going to do?
Okay. So I want to make sure I'm sticking with my theme for my pitch. I just want to do a brief shout out to some other ones that I thought I might go for. I was tempted to go with a character from Dragon Ball Z just because Amanda and I do an anime podcast, and that was one of the few anime on there. I'm not going that direction.
She looks nervous.
Also,
A little bit.
Also, I didn't think anyone was going to pick this, but Jackie Chan Adventures almost went with Uncle Jackie or Uncle just because I knew that would get a pop. No, I'm sticking with my theme. Give me Inspector Gadget.
Well played.
As my mentor.
Yes.
Ooh, as your mentor.
Yes.
Ooh, good pick. That's like a steal.
Yep.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
Next time.
That was awesome.
I did have
thought
Brain. I had Brain in my sidekick category.
He's a good sidekick, yeah.
I've been letting you all pick up the tricksters because I was thinking Dr. Claw would make a great faceless villain, but I'm going to have to go in a different direction.
Dang. Great pick, Josh. Inspector Gadget. Not a bad attempt at a live action film. Not great. Not a bad attempt. Matthew Broderick. All right, Doug, coming back to you. You get 2 picks in a row here, picking on the turn. You got 1 minute on the clock.
All right, so I'm going to go with my innocent. This is a slightly deeper cut, but gosh, for this character, it never hurts to help. So I'm going to pick Eek the cat as my innocent.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
He's always helpful. He's into body positivity, I guess. That's kind of cool. But just a sweet character from a show that everyone forgot, but I still have a lot of love for. So, yep, Eek the cat.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Can you clear something up for me? Is Eek the cat's name?
Eek is his name.
Okay. Because the title suggests Eek! Exclamation point. The cat.
What I don't know is if the exclamation point is part of his name, but yeah. And dim memories of the show, but I remember loving it a lot when it was on in the early 90s. So there you go.
Great pick.
All right, so I'll go for my mentor now. Since this person is still left, once again, I'm going to go for a real life human being that was cartoonized, and he is the biggest heart in all of Canada. I'm picking John Candy.
Yeah.
For my mentor.
Yes.
From Candy.
So well played. Another big oversight on the list.
Yeah, huge oversight. I forgot
Ooh.
animated John Candy.
I like me.
That is such a I had no idea to choose that, but what a great mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the ultimate steal of the draft right there.
It was on the brain because I did watch the documentary that was that's out, which you should all watch. It's awesome.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I just watched Home Alone 2. What a joy. And with that, all of us have selected our mentors. That category is completely closed. Well done, everybody. Okay, and Doug, you've got just 2 picks left before this thing is done. Getting close. Josh, we're back to you, buddy, for your next pick. You got 1 minute on the clock.
Okay. I am stuck between going for my sidekick or my innocent. Okay. I feel like I can wait for the innocent. So I'm going to go a route that I'm shocked anyone from this world is still there, because it is from the beloved PBS universe. I'm going to the iconic show Arthur.
Oh,
Give me
fuck.
Buster Bunny. I need him as my sidekick. Just too wholesome, too sweet, too goofy. I need that energy.
Great choice. Great choice. Love this show. Love the podcast they have made, which is basically a recreation of the show in podcast form. Arthur was low, but on my list of innocents. That's where the show would have landed for me. Great pick. We love Buster.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Randy, we'll get to him. I'm curious to hear where you had that show slotted in.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Oh, it's your turn. Feel free to use your 1 minute on the clock to tell us.
Yeah, just a second ago, I was breathing a sigh of relief because I was like, oh, I know my trickster. I'm going to take DW, that little pain in the ass from Arthur.
Would have been so good.
But I missed my chance. So I'm in a genuine panic. Let's see. All right. If all else fails, I've got... All right. I'm going to keep it. Shit. All right. Oh, boy.
23 seconds.
Okay, that's actually more than I thought.
Left, not elapsed.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Whew. All right. I'm looking at tricksters. I'm going to keep things as close to the spirit of DW as I can. And I am going to pivot to Rugrats and Angelica.
Dude, you're a pro. What are you panicked about? It's a great pick.
I'm surprised Rugrats is still here for us on the board. Angelica is, like one of the earliest, sort of villains or tricksters in my life. There is a healable person somewhere underneath all of that. And let's just get pushed around. The ultimate wish fulfillment in my life was watching her run away from home in a Power Wheels.
Yep.
I didn't know kids could possess such power, but Angelica possessed it.
And with her, you get Angelica, who's a really cool dancer. Cynthia, rather.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's expert pivot. Well done.
Truly.
Impressive.
Whew. Thank you.
All right, Allie, we're back to you now with your next pick. 1 minute on the clock.
It's so hard because I don't have a lot of trios left, so I'm tempted to choose just in case mine gets taken. Because I think I only have my last choice, or they weren't my last, but they're the remaining choice. But I think I'm gonna go for my innocent because I'm worried if I lose the innocent, I won't have anybody else to go with. So I'm gonna go with my innocent is Winnie the Pooh.
It's number 2 on my list. Excellent pick.
Just the most innocent I can imagine, really.
Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear.
Yep. Great pick. Perfectly innocent. The icon, the absolute archetype of innocence. Winnie the Pooh.
What's a rumbly in my tumbly?
Yes, Doug.
Yes.
I didn't want to ask you for it and put you on the spot like the person in the pretend scenario you walked us through in the beginning of the episode. I'm so glad you did it.
I love doing Winnie the Pooh. It's a fun one.
That's one.
Do you have any Invader Zim?
I've never seen any Invader Zim. I'm too old.
Oh, you would enjoy it. I'm rewatching it right now with my kiddo, and It's great.
There's a few cartoons like that that are on the I think my kids will like this. Like that was one of them. We haven't done like Adventure Time. I want to try with
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Great pick. All right, Amanda, we are back to you. You have 1 minute on the clock.
Well, I'm going to go with my wild card because I'm a little nervous. I think I have my sidekick figured out and my community figured out, but my wild card, I need a little fun, more chaotic energy. Definitely will fit in with my pitch. And I'm going to go with a cartoon that I love and still cite often, and that is Johnny Bravo. I mean, I pretty much live with Johnny Bravo, so Brandon. Josh knows. Allie, you've met him.
Yeah.
You get it. You get it.
I didn't think of it until you just said it, but yeah, that's perfect.
I wish I had his hair.
It's great hair.
Where's the cosplay?
Yeah.
All-time great hair.
It's gonna happen, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
we thought about it.
Get him in those light wash jeans.
He's got the light wash jeans. He does.
Yes.
When you get married and you have your first dance, you have to get him to do the monkey, see if you can get him, because it'll be filmed.
Yes. I like where this is going.
I love this. Well, excellent pick. You are nearly done. Just 2 slots left to fill for you, Amanda. But it's back to me now, and I've got 1 minute on the clock. I've got 3 categories left. I've got innocent, team, and wild card. I've only got 1 character left available. Oh, I get 2 picks. I'm going with innocent here. And
Nice.
I'm going to take, for me, a show that was probably late in my childhood, but my younger brother, who's 7.5 years behind me, watched more, and I got to consume through him. And I've since been able to share with my daughter. It's delightful. It's peaceful. It makes you feel like you're homesick from school with some warm soup. I'm going to go with Little Bear as my innocent.
Aw.
He's wide-eyed and curious. He's kind. I'm ready to bring him into this world that I plan to craft for my pitch. Okay, I almost went with no feet for the sidekick just because I like the character name No Feet. He's a snake. He has no feet. Okay. Well, Little Bear is my innocent. I'm going to go next to my team or community. These are folks who derive their powers from a different entity entirely, but they must be united in order to come together to have those powers. Of course, I'm going with the Planeteers.
Yeah.
Here, Captain Planet and the Planeteers. There's no mess that they can't handle. There is no wrong that they cannot set right. They are equipped with the elements of this earth and love. So we're here to win with the Planeteers.
Yeah, such a great grab. I was thinking of pulling out Mati for my innocent hearts.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been good too.
And you get his shoulder monkey.
This is true. Yeah, perfect pick, and that could apply to so many potential causes as well. So beautiful
Exactly
stuff.
Right. All right, thank you, sir. Now we're going back then to Amanda Rivas. Amanda, you've got 2 categories left. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go sidekick. I'm surprised the show is still on here, and I'm a little nervous about it because I think the sidekick will gel very well with the story I'm crafting, and I'm going to go with Max from Goof Troop.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm surprised we're this deep into the podcast, and I don't think we've done a single character voiced by Rob Paulson. How is that possible?
Whoa. Is that true? Because
yeah.
we've taken whole shows
Yeah.
off the board. It's probably why. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's a testament to the depth of all of the category, all of the options. So you guys did a great job putting this list together.
Is he, no, you picked the Animaniac. Sorry, you got Yakko.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
that's right.
you're
That's
yeah,
right.
So yep. Oh, great pick. I call my daughter Goof Troop. She's just a whole troop of goofiness. All right, excellent pick. Allie, we're back to you now. 2 categories left. What are you going to do?
This is getting very, very difficult. We've knocked a lot of great people off. I don't know what to do for. Okay. I'm gonna go for. I think I'm gonna go for my team, and I'm gonna go for the Birds of Prey from Batman the Bold and Brave, or Brave and Bold.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
I kept them. I didn't think anyone was going to choose them, but I think they're a strong choice. And so I was like, I think this show is maybe a little bit safer because I think it was. I didn't start watching it until honestly I got this draft, and then I discovered that Deirdre Bader did the voice, and he also does the Batman voice in Harley Quinn, and that's just become one of my favorite shows. So
So good.
Yeah, and it got me like this draft got me watching this show, and the show's actually really fun.
Yes, this as a Batman fan, this show is for me. I mean, outside of the animated series, one of my favorite animated ways to engage with the character. It's such a celebration of his canon, such a celebration of like everything that goes into the broad tapestry that is Batman. I think the first episode features the Clock King. Lots of great deep cuts. Excellent pick, Allie. And Diedrich Bader's the best Batman.
He used to follow me on Threads when he had a Threads, and then he got rid of his Threads. But if he ever comes back, I'll try and get him to watch this podcast.
Yeah. Send him this link and welcome him back to Threads. All right, very, very good. Randy, we're back to you now, sir. You have 2 categories left and 1 minute to fill one of them.
All right. Well, I think my biggest struggle here is just that I have an embarrassment of riches. It's like, do I go with the most popular shows? Do I follow my heart? I think these pitches are going to be tough to come up with on the fly. I'm not going to pretend that that's going to be an easy task. So I see a way I can get a top tier character, simplify my story, and really round out my team. We've gone to Darkwing Duck. We've gone to DuckTales, but we've not dipped into just like the classic Mickey and Friends of the past. So I'm just going to go right ahead and grab Donald Duck as the ultimate wild card. I've already got Scrooge around, so we can have their whole dynamic playing out. And I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. He's truly a wild card. You never know what you're going to get with Donald Duck. You don't even know what he's saying half the time.
Unless Don Cheadle does the voice. No. As he does in the DuckTales reboot for an episode.
I didn't know that. That's a fun fact if I ever heard one. All right, Randy, great pick. Josh,
Thank you.
We're back to you, sir.
Okay, so I still need an innocent. I'm going to save my wild card for last. For innocent, this was a late addition to my draft board, but looking at who I've drafted, I think it actually fits in perfectly in ways that I did not expect. So for my innocent, who is more innocent than the scaredest dog in the entire world? Give me Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Amazing.
Great pick. He was on my list too.
Yeah, just, he does it for love, guys. He does it for love.
Love it. I just wrote Courage the Animated Dog. Okay. You used hardly any time to make that pick, Josh. Well done. Randy, we're right back to you. Sorry.
We're at Doug.
Yes, it's going the wrong direction. Doug.
Don't make me pick again.
Doug, for your final 2 picks, sir.
All right. So I'll do my golden trio first. This is a golden trio that let's see if anybody's even heard of this. But I'm going to pick Esteban, Zia, and Tal from the Mysterious Cities of Gold on Nickelodeon.
Whoa.
Real deep cut. This was a Saban show, sort of anime style in terms of its animation, about 3 kids in during the time of the conquistadors doing Indiana Jones stuff in Mesoamerica, and with a really kick-ass soundtrack. So
nice.
But they're 3 kids and they're awesome, and it's the 80s and they're kids, so they solve all the problems with their magical medallions. So,
it's like a pseudo Ghibli kind of animation I'm looking at now.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was really good. They created a modern version of it, because the show ends on this very obvious sequel hook that they never got around to, and then I guess in 2000 and something they made it, which I've not checked out, but the original series was a big part of my childhood, so I'm going with them. And that's
82 and 83, deep cut.
Yeah. So this is I'm gonna go for my wild card. That's my last one. This one has not been picked yet, but he's a super dude extraordinaire. Freakazoid.
Amazing.
So I think I got it. I got my team. So
Dude, phenomenal board. You absolutely crushed it tonight. So glad you joined us. Some of these deep cuts I didn't even have on my list. Really fantastic. This was the
Forgot
celebration.
about Freakazoid.
Yeah, these are the celebration of cartoons I was hoping for here. Well done, Doug. Josh, it's your turn to round out your draft board.
Okay. So I will start by saying I totally understand if this is vetoed because I don't necessarily believe I can take this myself. So far I've got a lot of animated pets. I've got a talking dog. I've got a talking cat. I've got a talking another dog. I've got a talking rabbit. This dog doesn't talk, but the dog is animated. And much like my other characters that I've chosen, this dog is very good at finding clues. So technically the rest of the show is live action, but this character is animated. Can I take Blue from Blue's Clues?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to allow it.
I would say it's mostly animated, right? It's just
Yeah,
the
it's
Steve
just
or the
Steve.
Josh or the whoever you're Blues Cluesing with. Totally.
Yeah.
Great pick, Josh.
Okay, if I have your blessing, then thank you.
Bow, 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 bow.
Blue's
Yep.
good, dude. We
I-
can too.
You can tell who's rewatched this.
Yes. Excellent, Josh. Great draft board. Some really wonderful picks here. I think a good celebration of your own childhood and just some animated classics. Well done. Randy, you've got to secure an innocent for yourself, sir. It's your last pick. What do you
Yeah,
got?
lots of great options. There are so many great shows I'm kind of surprised we haven't dipped into yet. I don't know that they necessarily have like the innocent that I want to go with. So this time I am just going to follow my heart. I don't know if this show was as formative or important to everyone else, but this was amongst my favorite, just like goofy shows as a kid. And for my innocent, I'm going to go with Bobby Generick from Bobby's World.
Yep.
Bobby Generick, don't you know? The squeaky, high-pitched...
Generick.
Yes. The squeaky, high-pitched voice, and just an inquisitive kid. He's looking for answers. So if I have to come up with a special that's going to teach us something, why not get the most inquisitive child ever in an animated series?
For Father's Day, when I was 6 years old, my father had to ask me to learn to ride a bike as a gift to him, to learn to ride a two-wheeler as a gift to him, because I had no interest. I loved my big wheel. I loved the way Bobby ripped around his world in his big wheel. And that's all I ever needed for myself. Great pick. Okay. Allie, last pick. Your trio. You saved Golden Trio for last. I'm so curious what you're going to pull out of the hat here.
I kept losing my golden trios and just losing the show. So I actually had to think of this one. But I'm actually happy with it. And it is Rocco, Heifer, and Herbert from Rocco's Modern Life. I feel like we haven't represented Rocco yet, and Rocco needs representation on this list.
I had Heifer on my list of possible sidekicks. Yeah.
Same. Great. What a doting sidekick you could have in Heifer.
Oh, lovely. I'm so glad we were able to represent Nickelodeon the way we have here. We've got Rocco's Modern Life. We were able to get Doug. Excellent. Really, really well done. All right. Amanda, your last pick. What have you got?
Well, I have to pick my team / community, and my co-host knows me very well when it comes to this team. And hopefully this gets approved. It's not on the list, but since y'all added Dragon Ball Z, I have to come out with a team that's a contemporary of Dragon Ball Z, and that is One Piece. I need the Straw Hats because I feel like, especially with the pitch that I'm going for, they are going to be a big part. And again, it was 1999. I loved One Piece. Josh knows I talk nothing. I'm one of those people. I'm like, hi, watch One Piece. I have stuck with it ever since. And it's one of the biggest cosplays that we do. We love One Piece here. And I'm, of course, watching now, my kiddos caught up with it too. So it's just, it's so much fun. It takes you on an emotional journey. It starts off very lighthearted. You get great character backstories. You get just all of this very epic storytelling all the way through. And that epic storytelling is why I need them in my team community, because it's going to be very important for my pitch, if that's okay with everybody.
Approved. Absolutely.
The era is great. I don't think I'm attempting a veto here. Was that like available in syndication in the US
It
in this
was.
time period?
It was. Yes. So
I'm so bummed that I missed it because people love this story.
Yeah, kind of the latter half. So Dragon Ball was kind of I would say, like, the first that everybody knows, the Dragon Ball
Yeah.
franchise. But One Piece is one of the cornerstones as well. Of course, Bleach was another one. And I feel like, Josh, I'm missing one more. My mind is trying to, I think that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Did we get Dragon Ball, One Piece,
Naruto.
Bleach? Naruto, thank you. And that was also on my list if that wasn't approved. But those were kind of the key anime that exposed a lot of kids to anime.
No, that would have been like the only arbitrary rule I made up that would have gotten in the way. But as long as that's not an obstacle, it's just a great pick. I teach high school. I still have a lot of students discovering One Piece, whether it's through the more recent live action series or whatever. But they're pulling that manga from the library, and it clearly speaks across generations.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I see it came to the U.S. for the Fox Kids block in 2004.
Yep.
And then it was on Toonami after that. That's where I caught a few episodes before.
Nice.
Years later, Amanda convinced me to dive into it and read all 1,000 plus chapters.
Awesome.
But it's worth it.
It is.
It's worth it.
Nice.
So happy you got that, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay. It's my final pick. I've got my wild card left. I have to be honest. My pitch is I kept it vague enough that really none of these picks were terribly consequential except for my mentor. And then my wild card. My wild card is where I wanted to secure a specific character from a specific show that it was so short-lived. It's the perfect example of a show that was designed just to sell toys. I'm going to go to the Street Sharks. Anybody remember Street Sharks? And
I remember Street Sharks.
That's right. I want the youngest brother. I want the football player. I want Big Slamu. A shark whale hybrid with those big old fists that he can use to smash the crap out of the ground. That was a specialty, just big old ground and pound. So give me Big Slamu.
Were the biker mice from Mars unavailable?
Yes. Dude, perfect example. They are brothers in cartoon absurdity for sure.
Nice.
Animals plus word salad formula of 1990 to 1994.
Yeah. Sell toys.
Mm-hmm.
That'll do it. That's the draft.
Yeah, Kris, I don't know quite how we got here. It's been quite a ride. We are there. We are going to do our best improv here. We're going to throw together some pitches for you all. I know we've all come in with at least partial game plans. We're trying to put these pieces together. As people are just kind of rallying to get their storyline put together and any bells and whistles they do or do not want to add, I just want to let our listeners know that the plan now is for us to go through one at a time and each talk about what this team of cartoon all-stars we just drafted is going to educate the public about. So everyone's going to select a cause. You're going to share who are your main protagonists, antagonists, and your major conflict. You may populate your story entirely with characters from the draft, or you may be crafting some original characters to help tie those loose pieces together and give those characters someone to play off of, much like we saw in Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. And if you have any other fun information that's going to help us picture what this looks like on TV or on the streaming network or wherever this is going to reach people's eyes in the present, feel free to paint us a picture. Before we hear from people, I'm doing this partly out of curiosity and partly just to buy people a little extra time. Does anyone have any quick, like, one show you want to shout out as an honorable mention that you're shocked we didn't get to?
Well, I don't think I'm shocked we didn't get to these. There's a few of those, but I just wanted to call out a few that I had on my list that we never got to. I'm shocked none of the Transformers showed up
Yeah.
tonight.
Mhm.
The real Ghostbusters did not make an appearance. There were several Disney afternoon cartoons that got left on
Yeah.
the table. So no Rescue Rangers, no Tailspin, none of the others. Captain N I had on my list did
Yep.
not show up. There was a few other Nintendo related things, and yeah, those are the ones I had. I think that I was surprised, either surprised didn't show up, or I was like, maybe we'll talk about these, and did not happen. So
Yeah. A lot of classics didn't get represented. We don't have any
Yeah.
Jetsons or Flintstones on here.
Yeah.
You know, not surprised. They're not really of our generation. I think we all watched them growing
Yeah.
up, but they weren't made for us, right? The one
Yeah.
that I had hoped to find a way to sneak in, but ultimately wasn't important enough to me to sacrifice any of the others, was a short-lived show called Mummies Alive. I don't know if me and just 6 other people watched that show, but I loved it very much when it was on.
I remember the commercials.
There you go.
I thought about trying to fit in. I don't know if anyone ever watched this. It was like Saturday morning cartoons, but my family loved it. It was Life with Louie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about trying to fit him in as my innocent, and then he just didn't like make sense. But I was like, if I could have fit him in somewhere, but let's give a shout out to that because my family all together like thoroughly enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're giving comedians cartoons in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
There were a lot of like 80s icons that I thought we'd get to. Like, I don't think anyone picked a Ghostbuster, did they?
no Ghostbusters, no Thundercats.
Yeah, no Thundercats, no He-Man,
Snarf was
No
on my
Rainbow
list.
Bright.
no
Even though I love
Gem.
her,
I was
no.
sure you were going to go with Gem, Amanda. I was just
But
like waiting for it the whole
I
time.
thought about she could still do my soundtrack though. I love her. I always love my girl Jem. I'm sorry, Jerica. I'm sorry.
All right. In terms of our pitches, is there anyone feeling like I've got this? I'm ready to go. I want to kick things off.
I'm happy to jump right in, give everybody else a chance to spend some time formulating their pitches rather than listening to mine. And I got the first overall pick, so I may as well sacrifice myself for the first.
Well, that's really kind of you, Kris.
The first pitch here. So, again, I kept it fairly high level. I wanted to make sure the draft didn't handcuff me too badly. But I'm really excited to put forth a classic after-school special with an important message. My cartoon special will be called Hitting Hitler, Friends Fight Fascism. And we will enter a world much like in the original, right? Where we're in a home, it's an animated space. Young Tucker is becoming increasingly isolated from his family, and he spends more and more time online. He seems angrier all the time. His little brother used to look up to him, and now he's worried. Tucker is embracing more and more extreme ideas. And when he gets invited to a pro-America rally from an online contact, he finds out his new friends are a little more action-oriented than he thought.
Oh, no.
They plan to do real harm to a marginalized group in the name of God and country. Fortunately, someone has been watching closely. Master Splinter steps off the poster on Tucker's wall and engages him in conversation. I want my audience to experience something akin to the reason it had to be Master Splinter. We've all seen the original 1990s live action film. We remember the troubled youth who stole from April O'Neil, whose father was her boss, who got wrapped up in the Foot Gang. And so I remember watching Splinter speak to this young man and just like speak into the anger that was in his heart, speak against the manipulations that these folks had used on him to turn him into this criminal. And that's what I want here for young Tucker. Together, they're going to embark on a journey to teach Tucker about propaganda. That's the core of the message here.
Yep.
We're gonna get to hit Hitler, but ultimately I want to make sure that kids who are watching this really do learn a thing about propaganda, what it looks like, how to recognize it, and how to counter it. And so without any mechanic that justifies it, because we don't need that because it's a cartoon, and in Cartoon All-Stars, we were moving from space to space without any rules whatsoever. And so without explanation, Master Splinter will whisk young Tucker away on a journey. They'll travel from cartoon world to cartoon world, encountering one Hitler after another. in each cartoon world. And he's like in the midst of various fascist messaging and manipulating whole groups or smaller groups of people. But each time Tucker's going to encounter this moment where we're going to see a type of propaganda on display. He's going to kind of learn from his mentor Splinter how to recognize it and how to counter it. He'll have to counter it in order to win the hearts back from the people who've been listening. And when Hitler has lost sufficient influence, the respective character of that cartoon world gets to come in and knock him out. You don't get to knock him out while people still believe in his message. You have to counter the propaganda. You have to counter the programming. And then you get to knock Hitler the fuck out. And so I'm just like really excited to move through this. We're going to talk about emotional manipulation, name calling and fear appeals. We're going to talk about bandwagon appeals. We'll explore the way information is controlled, card stacking and oversimplification, misinformation. All of these things will be presented to my audience as a learning opportunity. And I just really want to see my favorite cartoon characters punching my least favorite historical character in the face over and over and over again. And that is why, of course, Master Splinter had to be the mentor. And that's why Big Slamoo had to be the one who finished it all off. And the very end, Big Slamoo gets to have the big final, fascism shattering slam. Unfortunately, young Tucker will have to reckon with the fact that these things never go away. The small ideas will continue to live on in the dark, but he has a big, bright light of wisdom to shine out and make those shadows smaller.
Kris, I like it, but I find it very hard to believe that a person named Tucker would be flirting with fascism.
Yeah, it's the darndest thing.
The darndest thing.
Kris, I just love the boldness of this, right? Like you were not afraid to go after a big topic. And even if someone were inclined to suggest that you were taking too much of a position, I think you're covered because understanding propaganda, understanding these veiled media messages is so important and so essential. And I love that backbone exists in your concept.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to make sure we used Hitler because I do think that we should all be able to agree at all points in history, Hitler equals bad.
Facts.
Right? So if anybody is like, oh, I don't know, that's too much of a... You're wrong. Hitler equals bad. And that's why I'm not worried about any of these cartoon characters being undermined in this moment of violence. Perhaps they're not naturally very violent. I'm thinking a Little Bear. But I think everybody would punch Hitler in the face, including Little Bear.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely perfect. Kris, thank you for kicking us off, showing us how this is done. Amanda's looking ready. Let's go to Amanda Rivas next.
In theory, I'm ready. We're going to see how well in my brain, this all sounds really good. Let's see if I can put it into actual words and manifest, especially after Kris. So articulate. Loved your pitch. That was amazing. Mine is a little smaller scale and still very relevant, I think, especially today. And of course, hits my heart in multiple ways. For those who've known me for a long time, my first job was working in a library. And I loved every minute of it. Yep. I worked in a library for 6 years. As a parent, this also hits home for me. So mine is going to sound a little similar to Kris's, but my idea is to support your local library. Adventure awaits. Take a journey via your neighborhood library. My little protagonist, Seth, animated Seth, and I kind of picture him. I kind of pulled my inspiration from the Page Master with his whole little look because that's who my kiddo reminds me of. So we have little Seth. He's trying to figure out his way in the world. He's bored. And as most kids do, they jump on TV all day. They're on YouTube. They're just kind of surfing through. And again, you don't know what's on there, right? I mean, anything, as we know, anything can be on the internet. So he's starting to rely on, TV, on screen time to get his information, to entertain himself. If he's not on screen, it's, I have headaches, I'm irritable with people, I'm angry, he's not doing well in school, he's having withdrawal. Miss Frizzle notices this, and she notices that, Seth is having some issues here. Maybe SpongeBob is also seeing his friend's behavior and starting to mirror some of those same ideas.
Yeah.
So Miss Frizzle says, well, hey, I have a different way to entertain you. Let's go to your local library. Little Seth goes, don't know about that. It's not anything on YouTube. It's just a bunch of books. And old people use libraries. I don't know about that. Miss Frizzle takes him to the library and says, look, there's so much more that you don't know. I'm going to list my friends to help because the entertainment you're looking for can be found right here in a good book. And also, I'm going to introduce you to some friends that, because the libraries are not only places for physical books, they're places where communities gather, where people network. You're isolating yourself too much. You need to make friends that are like-minded, that'll help you come out of your shell, that you have a safe space to connect with people. So I'm going to introduce you to Ron Stoppable and Rufus, Doug, Skeeter, Peppermint Patty, because they are there. She takes him to the library. She introduces him to the group. They're here using a 3D printer because a lot of libraries have 3D printers now. A lot of libraries offer coding classes. They're here in the shared space, learning, interacting. Seth feels like, you know what? I kind of want to try this 3D printing thing. But then here comes Invader Zim. Like, why are you here? Why are you even here? This is boring. Let's go back and watch TV. I just built something I saw, this one random person saying on YouTube that it's completely incorrect. No source checking, no fact checking. Miss Frizzle goes, I'm just going to take everybody here on this magic bus. We're going to go on a ride. She picks up something like Treasure Island. She takes them through it. They meet the Straw Hats. They're immersed in the adventure. Young Seth starts to get excited and gets very passionate, very engaged. He likes the community he's building. He feels the need. Also taking SpongeBob with him, they feel less of a need to rely on constant screen time. They can come to the library, hang out with their friends, use the resources, learn how to do research. Seth loves to print. He prints his first cosplay armor. You can do all of that at your local library. And that's for me, that's such an amazing thing to see. And even if you don't want to pick up a physical book, maybe you're somebody who needs an accommodation. Like, I will be honest, like Seth struggles with reading because he is reading physical books because he has ADHD. And he is on the spectrum. So I love the fact that there are so many different digital resources, ebooks. And we have in San Antonio, actually, I believe the only completely digital library in the country. We have 4 of them here. So knowing that there are those resources available and being able to use my special to tap in and show people, this is not, you don't have to rely on just constant screen time and entertainment. Like your local library, yes, you remember it having books, and that's all people kind of did. They went and studied and that kind of thing. But this is a place of community. And this is a place where you can grow skills, and that it's equal access to everyone. So that's my pitch. It's not quite as perfect. Like, hopefully I articulated that well.
Yeah.
But just to show that you really can go on so many different adventures right here in your community.
Community building, education, a host of lovable characters. You're hitting on every point. Love that.
This is so beautiful. I really, really love this. Libraries are super important.
All right. At any point, I am ready to dive in. Do we have anyone looking to jump in next? Josh Sarnecky, we're going to keep it with anime pop.
Okay, so first off, love Amanda's, love Kris's. Both of those are excellent. Amanda, I love the focus on libraries. As someone who is married to a librarian, I have to shout that out especially.
Stop it. She's a librarian?
She is.
Why did you not tell me this before?
I thought I did.
No. I love her more. If y'all have never seen Josh's wife or met her, she is amazing. I just got to put her over. I love her. She's my new best friend. That's all.
She will be so glad to hear that.
Now that I know she's a librarian, of course it's true. Yeah.
So had to shout that out. So my pitch actually has some shades similar with Amanda and Kris's. So mine is going to be all about social media literacy and being able to spot misinformation, disinformation, and attempts to take advantage of people online. So we start with our villain, Mojo Jojo, who is trying to manipulate the people of Townsville into believing his misinformation, disinformation about the Powerpuff Girls, and to receive funds to build his evil machinations to defeat them. we go to some of the kids of Townsville going on their social media, trying to figure things out. And they start to succumb to this information that is not accurate and that is purposely misleading or tweaked to set an agenda in motion. Suddenly, we have Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Gang, Mystery Inc. come in and they say, you know what? We need to solve this. We need to crack this mystery open. And so much like in the amazing VHS original Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, they go into the world of social media. They go into the phone, into the computer.
Nice.
And they are joined by an all-star cast of other detectives and investigators, including Inspector Gadget, Buster Baxter, who is an amateur detective in Arthur. We have Courage the Cowardly Dog, who is a computer whiz. He's always going to his computer for strategies and trying to understand through research the monsters he's fighting. Batman and Robin, world's greatest detective, and his sidekick, they know how to solve a case. And we have, helping them out every now and then, Blue from Blue's Clues, bringing attention with a little paw print to things that just don't seem right. And the whole time, as we're going through these attempts to bring awareness to what does not seem accurate, what seems like it's misleading, what seems like it's trying to push an agenda, we also have Team Rocket entering. And you know what? They're a little confused, but they see a lot of talking animals in this world, and they assume they're Pokemon. So you know they're going to try to capture them. So the whole time our characters are trying to learn how to appropriately use social media, they also have to manage Team Rocket shenanigans as they ineptly try to capture and, not necessarily in a way that's helping Mojo, but, in a way that's disrupting where we're going. So finally, we have one last attempt. Mojo Jojo is trying to convince the kids of Townsville to go and steal their parents' credit card information to give him their money. He is trying to do a phishing scam. He's trying to get all the money from the kids. And thankfully, at the end of the day, our heroes come together and convince the kids to step away, to go outside and play, and to stop using this nefarious tool that Mojo Jojo set up. And we end with Team Rocket coming and now thinking that Mojo Jojo is in fact a Pokemon, and they capture him and run off to give him to Giovanni.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
A motivation for each character. I love it.
So yeah, again, I feel like we're all on the same page and similar. So I love that for us. I think we're doing good work here.
You crafted that 2-year draft board really beautifully.
Put way too much thought into this, let me tell you.
That's great.
I just love that all of our pitches so far are really preparing kids for this world. And they're all things they can enjoy with their millennial parents. All right. Doug or Allie, are either of you eager to jump in? Or would you rather hear another pitch? I see a finger of readiness. Allie, take it away.
Yes.
Okay.
Finger of readiness.
Yes. So I did lose a couple of people that my trickster was very integral, and I was looking for a Pepe Le Pew, and I did lose Pepe Le Pew, and then I lost Animal from Muppet Babies, and then I lost Beetlejuice, and all of them were because what's something that's really important to me. I also wanted to capture the cartoons, these children's cartoons, teaching something somewhat inappropriate, age inappropriate to the kids, but still very important. That I feel like the weird smoking crack part of that show was, which is I am very passionate about the idea of consent, and not just sexual consent, which is maybe a little too much for these cartoon characters, but the idea of consent over your own body and things like that. So I've had to pivot a little bit, but so with the main character is going to be the unseen audience. So like you're the main character watching it. And you have Jean Grey as your mentor. Now, she is very passionate about consent because she's had her mind and body violated by an entity coming in, the Dark Phoenix. and taking over her life.
Mhm.
She's also somebody that can read minds. So she has to be in her own life very particular about the idea of consent, because she could just go into everybody's heads and mess around in there, or just, get information she shouldn't. So I feel like, is a very passionate mentor about this. Now you have Babs Bunny, who's going to be like your best friend during this journey. She's a teenager, and she's constantly having like pranks on her and things like that. And, she needs to learn about having, the ability to talk out when there are things happening to you that you don't like, pranks, all of that kind of stuff. And also just being a teenager. It's really important to learn about, having agency over your own self, your own body, being able to say no and things like that. Now, along with them as well is Winnie the Pooh. Now, if anyone needs to know about consent, it is somebody that spends a long time stuck in holes, not wearing pants, with his ass just akimbo. And Winnie the Pooh definitely needs to learn and become a very passionate advocate for the idea of consent. And I don't think he knows a lot about that, because he's constantly leaving himself in very precarious positions. And also it seems to be stealing honey, which is also not a great thing to be doing. So together you're going on this journey learning about consent. Meanwhile, at the same time, you've got Eddie Brock, who, similarly to Jean Grey, has had himself violated, his body violated by the symbiote that makes him Venom, but he's kind of embraced it. So he's into it. Now, Brain from Pinky and the Brain discovers the symbiote and thinks, hey, I bet I can use this to try and take over the world. So he brings Pinky along for the ride and tries to team up with Eddie Brock / Venom. So they end up recruiting Rocco, Heifer, and Filbert, because they're always looking for extra money. But Rocco, he's very skittish, but he also has a good heart. So he realizes that something's weird. So he contacts rival reporter Lois Lane, rival of Eddie Brock's, Lois Lane, and tells her, hey, there seems to be something going on here that's sort of fishy. Now, Lois Lane, she starts researching, and she realizes, hey, something is going on here. And so she ends up contacting the Birds of Prey, because these are strong, badass women, and they care about, people not being violated by symbiotes. So together, they fight Eddie Brock. Meanwhile, Pinky annoys the symbiote off of Brain.
Yeah.
Because that's just how every single time Brain tries to take over the world, it seems to get foiled. And at the same time, this is where Jean Grey also comes in, because she senses that something's going off. So altogether, they end up stopping the symbiote from taking over everybody, telling everybody that they need to have agency over their own bodies, and telling Brain specifically learns the lesson about not taking over people's bodies. Now, Pinky learns the lesson about taking agency over himself, because he's always letting Brain do whatever he wants to him. He's letting Brain beat him up a lot of the time. So he learns that, and Brain learns this lesson, but still thinks the world would be better if he was in charge, but that he's going to need to find a way to get everybody's consent to make that his ultimate goal.
I love this so much. I love, first of all, the topic is poignant, truly, but what a fantastic tongue-in-cheek way to go about exploring it. Winnie the Pooh, Ass Akimbo is something that I'm going to be replaying in my brain quite a bit.
It's an all-time media lit quote for sure.
That's great.
This topic of consent definitely crossed my mind. I am a father to 2 young boys. And they are still at an age where the way you have that type of conversation is maybe not the most adult version yet, but doing what I can to guide them toward understanding that is a big part of what I see as my responsibility as a father to young boys. So I appreciate your help in trying to give us some extra tools and resources.
I wish when we had kids, when we were kids, that was something somebody would hit you when you were told don't hit, but you were never really told you don't put your hands on somebody because they haven't invited that,
Yeah, you can't just put your hands in any honey pot you see.
Exactly. That's somebody's honey pot.
You might end up with your ass akimbo.
Yeah, so I'd say we're 4 for 4. Doug, would you prefer to go next or last?
I can go. Sure.
Let's hear it.
You know, so I like all your guys' pitches, but they make sense, and I think that's not in keeping with the assignment based on Cartoon All Stars. So I'll try to fix that. No. So the thing about Cartoon All Stars was it was like before I had watched it, I was like,
Yeah.
what? I had already thought about, well, what's my pitch going to be? I bet it's got to be something about say no to drugs, right? That's what's going to. And then I watched the thing. I'm like, well, that's taken. So I thought, well, what's another 80s program that I was forced to deal with that clearly backfired? And we had this thing called Project Self-Esteem, which was like teaching kids to believe in themselves. And now we have a nation of narcissists. So my special is called Believe in Yourself, but not too much. So we start with our protagonist, Kim, who is self-loathing but self-obsessed. She's constantly making TikTok videos of herself, posting herself on Instagram, and quietly crying in her closet over every time something is downvoted or disliked or doesn't get enough likes. So her father decides it's time for a attitude adjustment. So she is put on a plane piloted by one Launchpad McQuack to Camp Candy to meet with a Canadian who can help with this clearly American problem. Someone who, again, famously said, I like myself with the greatest of humility. So good-hearted counselor John Candy pairs him up with some other campers, Esteban, Zia, and Tao, who are way into archaeology. And after traipsing with them into the forest, they find a hidden temple, use their magic amulets to open a door that leads to a suspicious magic mirror. And Kim takes the mirror back to her bunk and stares into it all day long. And the more she stares into it, the less she likes what she sees, until her eyes become cartoon red and she is sucked into the mirror world, where she meets Beetlejuice, Freakazoid, and Ren and Stimpy, who proceed to batter her with seeming nonsense for 90% of the runtime of this special. It makes no sense. They're warped through space. They're blasted through time. They're inside a world that's made of nothing but teeth. Nothing makes sense. It's clearly animated by John Falusi. And so after just being abused by them and confused by them, finally, at the bottom, she finds one good-hearted, innocent soul, Eek the cat, who declares it never hurts to help. And she tells Eek how horrible she feels about herself. She's dumb. She's ugly. She's fat. And Eek replies, really? His classic catchphrase response to anything like that. But they're still trapped in the mirror world. How to get out? Well, there's only one way to solve a problem like this. They summon the Voltron Force to form into a giant robot and whack it with a sword pulled from nowhere. It shatters the mirror world, and she is let loose back into the real world, where she has learned to truly love herself, but also be incredibly humble, but care deeply about things, but not too much so not as to embarrass yourself. Welcome to the actual world we live in.
So when can I start watching this? Because it's fantastic.
Exactly right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the Freakazoid Beetlejuice section is just going to go so viral.
Yeah.
Just millions of views on YouTube for sure.
These hands. No, just thinking of that Ren and Stimpy bit. Yeah, there's so many. Just it could just be Ren monologuing for a good 5 minutes. It'll be fine. Yeah.
All right. I guess that leaves me, and I would like to welcome you to the sequel to Cartoon All Stars. Cartoon All Stars Unplugged. We've got a special introduction before the cartoon starts from my guy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has been out working the circuit, speaking against the dangers of unbridled artificial intelligence usage, the use of AI companions to appeal to children, and it's a very dangerous topic and issue. Generative AI as a teacher is something that I've come to really see as an enemy. It's a temptation too great for most students to ignore. And unfortunately, that technology is getting a little bit better at doing the work for the children. severing that sort of connection to creativity. So we're a spiritual cousin to Josh and Amanda's concepts, although we're going to dip into some new ground. So we are at McDuck Enterprises. Now, my mentor, Scrooge McDuck, he's an adventurer. He's a hero. He also loves his money. He loves swimming in gold coins, but he lets his board do most of the money work. And naturally, they have invested heavily in this burgeoning new AI technology. It's running rampant behind Scrooge's back. He's of a different generation. It's just all that computer stuff. It's making him money. He's fine with it. Little does he know, it is breaking down the very fabric between dimensions. And the dark tendrils of this AI data center are breaching the walls between all of these different cartoon realities. The technology is seeping into the other cartoons. And little do the cartoons know, this is all about to collapse in on them. They are going to be sucked into this matrix of the AI, and they will no longer have their own identities. They're going to become part of this AI soup. But just before the collapse, we check in with some different characters across our cartoon universes. And unfortunately, some of our characters are feeding the AI quite a bit. My guy Garfield has found an even easier way to order his food, keep his snacks coming, keep himself restful. Angelica of the Rugrats, she's starting to get more work at school. She's got a very work-oriented mother who can't always be home. She's not always getting the guidance she needs in the moment, and it's become a huge temptation for her. And even little, sweet, innocent Bobby Generick notices that his friends are relying on this new technology to do their thinking for them. But it's at this moment that the walls collapse. All of our cartoon worlds come together. But our innocent guy, Bobby, is still trying to figure out, should I do this or should I not? Luckily, we've got all sorts of creative masterminds here to educate Angelica, to educate Garfield, to help Bobby make his final decision in his own hands. The Muppet Babies are not going to bring anyone on any dark acid trips, but they are going to help bring Bobby and Angelica into the world of their own imaginations. Phineas and Ferb are going to allow them to see what they can create through their own ingenuity and creativity and elbow grease, all of the incredible possibilities that can open up for them when they do this. And Yakko, Wacko, and Dot can at any time break into a presentation, break into song. They can do it all. Ultimately, we are going to shift everyone's opinion. They're going to get to the root of the problem, which is this AI data center breaking through the realities. And we're going to get an infiltration sequence. Everyone gets to play a role. Even young Angelica knows a thing or two about throwing her own privilege around. She's watched her mother carefully. She's going to get them into the corporate offices. The Warner brothers and sister are going to keep the board busy with a nonsense presentation. We will cut back to it regularly to see them just absolutely losing it. I think the Muppet Babies and Phineas and Ferb are going to team up to help Scrooge understand what's lost, how much this imagination and ingenuity has defined him and his success. And ultimately, our final hero is going to be our ultimate wild card. Because when Donald finally understands what is happening to the world around him, the danger it's put his nephews in, and what's happening, Donald is just going to rage on that data center until it is fully destroyed and leveled to the ground. The holes will close back up, everyone goes back home, and Bobby's able to make the right decision. So there you have it, Cartoon All-Stars Unplugged.
Absolutely brilliant, so well crafted, so well imagined. I'm really grateful you had all that power of imagination on your team.
Whew. Truly.
Yeah, that is such a quintessential thing about this era of cartoon, which is just like the power of imagination.
Yeah.
The flight to fancy these characters would go on. So yeah, well done.
Making worlds. Beautiful.
And I love the inclusion of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I've had a crush on him since I was a young wee thing, and he just makes me prouder each day with the man that he has become.
Was it Third Rock from the Sun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great show. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt rules.
Yep.
And
It's our third Robin on the show.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. You reminded me I meant to cast a voice actor for my master Splinter. I wanted Greg Baldwin. Greg Baldwin stepped in for Uncle Iroh. The original voice actor passed away after season 2. He did some voice dubbing in season 2, then did all of season 3. He's also done some actual Master Splinter, so Greg Baldwin was going to be my Splinter.
Well, folks, that would have been a phenomenal choice, Kris. I want to thank all of our panelists one more time. It's been a long night, but honestly, considering all the ground we just covered, I think we kept it pretty tight. I'm really impressed with everyone. It's been a little over 2 hours. But before we go, I do want to give everyone an opportunity to plug the different places where people can find their work. So, Allie Nelson, I'm going to turn it over to you first. Where can people find you and your work?
So you can follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube. All of them at Like Willie Nelson, spelled just like that, like Willie Nelson, because my name is spelled an awful lot like Willie Nelson's. You can also find me on Blue Sky. That's the only one where I got my actual name, and I don't want to change it to the one that matches the other. So it's at Allie Nelson. You can find me there. Suck it, Elder Allie Nelson's. I finally got there first. So yeah, on there, I post a lot of sketches that I make, videos that I make. I post a lot of haunted house content because I love that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to do a little more travel content. I do stand up, so there's stand up. There's funny videos that I make. I post a lot of thirst traps. So I always joke that my audience is like comedy loving perverts. And then also I'm an actor, like I said. With I'll plug my nice headshot again. So I'm in a horror series called The Devil's Hour. It's at Creator Source Studios on YouTube. That's Creator Source Studios. I'm in the second episode. I play the character Kate, and the episode's called Kate, so it's my episode. And then I'm also in the 4th, 5th, and 6th episode of those, but they haven't come out yet. But if you follow me on social media, I will post when they come out. And then you can also hear me. I host on the Pop Break. I host a podcast with my husband called Not Couple Goals, where we talk about different romantic thrillers, the good and the bad, and mostly the bad.
Absolutely perfect. An amazing podcast. And you don't get much more clever or much quippier than Allie and Tyler together. Quite a force to be reckoned with. Josh Sarnecky, where can folks find you and your work?
Yeah, so if you want to find my work, I don't really have a social media footprint at this point, but I do have a bajillion podcasts that can be followed, all of which are through the Pop Break. So I am the co-host of The Anniversary Brothers with my brother Aaron Sarnecky, where every month we talk about an anniversary of a TV show or film that means something special to us or we think will resonate with our audience. We've covered a broad range of shows and films, including a lot of the cartoons that were mentioned in this episode. So if you want to hear more about some classic cartoons, definitely encourage people to check that out. I'm also the co-host of TV Break with Bill Bodkin and Alex Marcus. We just did a year in review, but every month we talk about the ins and outs of television. We talk about what we think is our show of the month. We pick a streaming service that we think is winning the month. Talk about the biggest news in TV, as well as a new series that we are spotlighting and trying to bring attention to, which sometimes is good, sometimes is not so good, but in either case, it is a fun discussion. And then finally, my last podcast, I co-host Anime Pop with Amanda Rivas. So every month we talk about all things anime. We have a blast. Again, we love animated content, so we typically talk more about the Japanese side of that, but certainly anything animated is well loved over in our program. And certainly it's something that's, if you love animation, I think you'd enjoy our podcast. And have to say, we've had some wonderful guests, including Randy and Kris. So just want to close off by just thanking you both so much for having us on. This has been a blast. It was a highlight of my year when I was able to join you guys earlier this year to talk about Batman and Superman. And this has been a amazing, second appearance. So thank you guys both so much.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, it's such an honor and pleasure to have you here. You're always a great guest. Amanda, anything you want to add about Anime Pop or any of your many other projects?
Yeah, well, with regards to Anime Pop, we do have our Anime Pop Awards. Josh, just a little teaser for everybody coming up for our December episode. Josh has some killer categories that he's come up with. So, and then of course, we're inviting my significant other to join us because whenever we talk about anime, there's some unhinged ones out there. And, that's my man. He brings the unhinged chaos to the table. So a lot to come from that. And of course, Anime Pop, we're going to be busy already all year. Like the spring already looks nuts. I'm trying not to kill us by I'm like, there's so much anime we want to cover. And then it's like, which one do we want to cover? Which is a good problem to have. So we're here for it. So yes, check us out on Anime Pop. It's always a pleasure. Randy and Kris, we love having you guys on. And of course, all of our guests that have been on, we're very much appreciative. And of course, I got to put over Allie and Tyler because they are phenomenal human beings. I've been blessed to be on Not So Couple Goals, and you guys, y'all are missing out if you're not listening. Like as soon as they drop an episode, I'm like, I'm here. Q, let's go. Because it's so funny. It's so amazing. So I'm going to put my Bill Bodkin hat on for our Pop Break editor-in-chief and just put over all of the podcasts that are on the Pop Break network. So go check us out, all streaming platforms. Follow thepopbreak.com online, the Pop Break on all social medias as well. Again, everybody, we have so much great written content. We have great podcasts. You guys have, of course, I won't steal your thunder, but you guys have some good stuff. So you can definitely follow the Pop Break again on all social medias. Of course, I'm the co-host of our flagship podcast as well with the aforementioned Bill Bodkin, Socially Distanced. And every week we talk about different pop culture topics, everything ranging from TV shows, movies. We kind of did a little bit more music this year. I'm glad we did. So lots of different pop culture topics. New episodes drop every Thursday. Definitely give us a follow. Yeah. And you can follow me at Brandalorian on Instagram, and I'm at Resnerscheck on Blue Sky and X as well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. It's great to have so many of my favorite podcasters here. And of course, let's go back to where we started with our guest list. Doug Lief, tell us about Nostalgium Arcanum and any other work that you want to share out there in the world.
Sure. Nostalgium Arcanum is the flagship show that we do. Every episode, I have a guest on to talk, or multiple guests to talk about a pop culture person, a movie, a comedian, a musical thing, whatever it is from their childhood that they're still obsessed with. The kind of thing where the guest will say, I wore out the tape. That is the thing they're there to talk about. So we deep dive into all of these subjects. Randy and Kris, I've had the pleasure of having on several times. As he said before, we did a month called Frodo-vember, where we went through the Rankin Bass Hobbit and all three Peter Jackson films. They were on this Christmas for A Christmas Story. So I know it's hard to spell. If you can spell it, you win the gift of content. It's not Nostalgia. If you Google Nostalgium, IUM at the end, you'll find it. You'll find all our social media portals. You'll find what you need to find. But we also have two other shows. We started a music podcast this year. It's myself, my wife, and my brother-in-law called Playing by Ear. And on every episode, someone brings in an album, and we just go through it track by track and break it down and score it. And then I partnered up with Josh Koval over at the Still Loading podcast for a new limited run thing we're doing called Still Muppeting. So if you go to patreon.com/stillloadingpod and drop a few bucks, you can hear this monthly show where we go through kind of the main works of Jim Henson and company. So it's all the Muppet movies. We're going to be doing adjacent stuff, like we're going to do some random episodes of The Muppet Show, Muppet Babies we'll talk about. We'll do Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal and other related things as well. So there's a few episodes of that out now. And if you want to sample, we also put it out on the Nostalgium feed. You can go listen to our episode on Muppet Christmas Carol, which is a crossover you can get a sense of that. So if you haven't gotten enough of my ass doing voices tonight, you can hear me do lots and lots of Muppets.
Yes. I'm always here for that. And I'm always here for Nostalgium Arcanum. Doug, I love every episode of your show. I especially love your music.
That's more than my mom loves it. Thank you.
Well, I especially love your music episodes, not because not all the episodes aren't good, but because you and your guests are so smart and intelligent about music and music theory. I do a music podcast, and I learn something every time I listen to one of your music pods.
That's very kind.
So
it's
much
all
for
on my
that.
guests, but yes, I try to bring people who know a lot more about music than I do.
You've got the chops too, though, man. It's certainly there. Thank you so much again for being here. Hey, Kris, what do you have going on over at the rest of our Media Lit enterprise and beyond?
Oh, hey, bud. Yeah, so delighted to co-host this Media Lit venture with you. We recently added kind of a new sub-brand under the Media Lit umbrella. We're doing a community rewatch. We're calling it Remedial Rewatch Community 101 with the great Tyler McCarthy coming into the third chair there. So please, we've recorded 2 monthly episodes already. By the time this thing drops, I think 3 or 4 will be out. You'll have plenty of community to engage with. We're going like 12 episodes at a time and reviewing it in bundles. So come and watch along with us. I'm also the co-host of the Batman by the Numbers podcast on the Pop Break podcast feed. Please go over to thepopbreak.com, hover over that podcast drop-down tab, and check out Batman by the Numbers with me and Dan Cohen. We spent all of 2025 celebrating Superman. We were in our world's finest era, and it was all about the big blue Boy Scout. But in 2026, we're back in the Batcave. We're back to the Dark Knight, and we're going to be celebrating him all year long. So please come and join us at Batman by the Numbers. And I've also got the pleasure of joining Randy now. This is where I get to be a fanboy the most, I think, in my podcasting ventures. I'm joining Randy and Justin Mancini for their next round of music coverage at the Pop Break. You may have heard them on Pod of Doom or Every Pod You Cast, but now it's time to do one of Randy's absolute favorites, and he invited me in to join. So we're talking about the entire discography of one Beck Hansen. You got a handful of episodes out now, but you're not too late to jump on and join us for a great year-long celebration of all things Beck.
Yeah, these guys had me on the brink of tears when we were just recording an episode because I told them repeatedly they did not have to listen to every single Beck indie release from the late 80s and early 90s, but they did anyway because they love me that much for some reason. You guys are too kind. Yeah, check me out on Podalay. Check out my writing over at the Pop Break, and thank you for being here. Check out all the great work of our guests. I'm going to beg you one more time, like and follow Media Lit wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube, pretty much all the social medias. We are out there. And of course, email us your favorite pieces of media at media.slash.lit@gmail.com. I think that finally does it for the night. And I hope that you learned something valuable from our cartoon all-stars. We'll see you next time.
The more you know.